Hello, in this video we are going to look at few problems that will help us to understand electric circuits. The first problem says, what does the symbol V, Q, and W represent in the following equation? So V represents voltage, and voltage is the same thing as potential difference. So the voltage is measured in volts. And the Q will represent the charge. So charge is measured in coulombs. And then lastly, W will represent work. Work, which is the same thing as energy. So the units for work or energy is joules. So the second problem says the potential difference between 2 points in electric circuits is 17.4 kilovolts. So we know what? The potential difference is voltage. So we are given that the voltage is equivalent to 17.4, and then K means what? Means 10 to the power of 3. It is kilovolts. The statement continues to say now, a power source transfers 0.4 megajoules of energy when moving a certain amount of charge between these 2 points. So we are given the amount of energy to move that charges. So the energy, which is W, is equivalent to 0.4, and then mega is 10 to the power of 6 joules. So the question says, determine the amount of charge moved between the 2 points. So now we have the amount of voltage and the amount of energy. So to determine the amount of charge, we can use this equation to calculate the amount of the charge. So we are going to say what? A voltage is equivalent to energy divided by charge. So if we want to make the charge the subject of the formula, what we can do here, we can just cross multiply and make a charge a subject of the formula. So remember now, this is over 1 here. So when you cross multiply here, you are going to end up having what? A charge multiplied by voltage is equal to energy. So when you divide now by charge in both sides, you have to divide by voltage because you are looking for charge. So that means now charge is the same thing as energy over voltage. So this will mean now for us to determine the amount of charge, we need to substitute energy divided by voltage. So now we're going to say, okay, charge is equivalent to the amount of energy. So the amount of energy was how much? Was 0.4 times 10 to the power of 6. And the voltage is 17.4 times 10 to the power of 3. So now if you put this in a calculator, we're supposed to get now the charge of 22.99 coulombs. So remember now the units for charge is coulombs. So that is how we will solve the second problem. So on the next problem, it says, what does the symbol I, Q, and T represent in the following equation? So I represents the current. And current is measured in amps. So Q will represent the charge. And we know the charge is measured in coulombs. And lastly, T will represent the time. And time is always measured in seconds. So the following problem says an amount of charge equal 45 coulombs moves past a point in a second in 1 second. What is the current in the second? So now we are given now the charge is equivalent to 45 coulombs, and we are given now the change in time is 1 second. So they say we must determine the amount of current. So we know the equation that will help us to determine the amount of current is going to be this one, because we have the charge and the time. So we are going to say that, okay, the current is equal to the amount of charge divided by the change in time. So the amount of charge is 45 and the time is 1 second. So if you put that in your calculator, the current is going to be 45 amps. And this is all for this video. Thank you very much.